Welcome back to Ing's Corner. This is episode 143. This is going to be a different kind of episode. I don't know, but the content is pretty different. This is not for like me or someone. It's like for it's for me, like for future me, basically. I used to hate the idea of like writing letters to like future self. But okay, I still hate it. I just don't like the idea of that because it's just I don't like to think about future, so it's just not right now. I think I used to don't recognize that I don't like to think about future, and we're just forced to think about the future, like, oh, you gotta plan what you're gonna do in 3 or 5 years, etc. Right? So I only realized that I hated to think about the future, or I just want to stay in the present, basically, in the recent like a year or two. So aside from that, okay, this is another episode about AI. To be honest, I'm just, if you know, I am obsessed with that right now. But obviously, I'm approaching it with a lot of caution. So, not just use it, but don't treat it as a friend. That's all I'm gonna say. There's a fly in front of me. Okay. Anyway, today's episode, in some form, it is a letter to myself, but it's not like I wrote the letter. It's more like I provide something, and someone wrote a letter for the future me to reflect on, and I want to document that, basically. So I scrolled Instagram, as we all do today, and there's this prompt that I think it started with like it's like a ChatGPT prompt that you're not ready for, etc. And it's in English, but there are people that put it in Chinese subtitles, and I was like, okay, I'll hear about what you think it's not ready, right? And it just says the prompt, and I have to like type it down myself. One-handed. Why? Because one hand is holding the phone and the other hand is typing. Yeah, it's like showing the prompt like 3 to 4 words at once, like speaking speed. So I need to like literally constantly pause it. Let's just talk about the prompt. The first thing. So the prompt says, I want to uncover the masks I'm currently wearing, the roles I'm playing, and the illusions I'm believing. Please guide me through this process by asking me 10 reflective questions, one at a time, to help me recognize the stories I'm telling myself. After I answer the 10th question, please step in the role of my higher self and analyze my responses. Identify top negative patterns present in my life and the top positive patterns I can embrace and grow. Be direct and truthful. Tough love is welcomed. Provide me with daily affirmations to support my growth and actionable steps to change my behaviors, and embody my authentic self and a message of encouragement from my higher self to celebrate how far I've come in my journey. So originally I was partially skeptical how well it could done, because for all the prompts, like regardless of the prompt, I've tried the ones that I feel like I am interested in or I feel like it's relevant to me, and most of the time it's just, yeah, it's good, but it's not like exceptional, you know what I mean? And same with this one. This one I was like, yeah, like these questions, I'm like 50% interested. I was like, I would have like a 50% expectations out of it. Other prompts, I usually have like 3 or 4, like 30 or 40% of expectation percentage. So this is like slightly higher because I feel it's just a feeling stuff. And I was like, does it depend on like the previous stuff you're importing or whatever? So I was just like, let's just try it out, right? And the result, I'll just say the result first. So the result came back to me, I feel like I am 80% satisfied, which is a lot higher than other stuff. And what's the 20% about? It's let's say it's like, it's just it's not a problem, it's just a fact that because it's basically helping you to reflect on yourself and potentially seeing something that you haven't seen. And unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know. So either it is that they just couldn't see something that I cannot see either, or it's that I am just so reflective myself already. Like I think a lot and I reflect like so much basically that I just know the issues and I'm already fixing them as much as I can basically. So I don't know which one it is. Because obviously it depends on what you gave the answer, right? So let's just start with the questions, I guess. Let's see. It's so long. I was playing with like different types of like prompts, different types of prompts, not just this one before this, and then I came with this one. So let's just start with the first part of the reflection, which is about like roles and masks. So the first question is, when you're alone and no one's watching, not performing, not pleasing, who do you become? What thoughts or feelings surface when there's nothing to prove? Honestly, I feel like it's a bit hard to answer the question, a lot of the questions, to be honest. And the hard is not because I don't want to express, it's because I don't really know what to answer. Like, it's like a blank thing. So sometimes, well, only one time actually, I ask ChatGPT to further elaborate on a question. And I think it's really helpful. I should have done like all the questions basically. So for this one, it's like I don't know, and I start to think about it, and it's like, okay, the first three questions, let's just make it together. The second one is, what role do you most often find yourself playing in your relationships? For example, the helper, the achiever, the entertainer, the caretaker, the rebel, the invisible one. And who are you when you're trying to earn love or belonging? A lot of times, a lot of like the questions you have to put in perspective of like specific scenarios. And oh, by the way, all the questions are like given one by one. It's not like all the questions at once. So I believe they kind of not iterate, like they the ChatGPT will create the next following questions depending on the previous ones, right? So it's not like all 10 at once, and that would definitely feel like a lot worse, which is a good design of the prompt. And the third one is, what part of yourself do you consistently suppress, hide, or minimize because you believe it's too much or not enough or would make others uncomfortable? Like, this is also another one. Like, the second question, it's very easy for me to answer. I'm just literally someone that takes care of others and always the leader and whatever. And I will try to elaborate more so that like AI know like, okay, why I do this and why I do that, and do I want to do that, and things like that. But for the first and third question, it's just like, what do you mean? But okay, I end up still like, getting some responses, but it's a little bit more let's say generic. Okay, so coming to the second part, it's about like inner beliefs and illusions. So the fourth question is, what belief about yourself do you return to in moments of self-doubt or silence? The belief that quietly says, this is who I really am deep down. And for this question, I don't really have like, it's not something that my mind will give me like always negative thoughts. It's not. It's like my mind will generate like positive and negative thoughts when things occur, but it wouldn't be there about, just like always, or self like nothing will happen in silence for sure. And self-doubt, I'm like question mark. So this, like, for example, for this one, really I'm just like giving really short answers. For the fifth question, what are you afraid people would think or do if they truly saw all of you? Your shadow, your softness, your sadness, your selfishness, or your sensitivity. This is also one that I don't really have much to answer, just literally one line, a lot of commas, that's it. Sixth question, what illusion or story do you suspect you're clinging to, even though the part of you knows it's not really true, but it still feels safer to believe? I am sure a lot of people will have like something to answer about this, but to me, it's also another question that's not really answerable, but I forced myself to like kind of like came up with something. Not sure if that's, like a valid answer. Yeah, but anyway, this is a section that like I'm so clueless that I don't really even know what's my inner beliefs. That's a huge problem, to be honest. And yeah, so usually this part is like, oh, you're gonna be like deep and you might hurt or whatever. I was like, I am so numb. But I also don't know, is that a problem or is that just there's no problem? Right, okay. Let's move on to the third part, which is self-abandonment and soul vision. There are 4 questions here. So the 7th question is, when do you most abandon yourself? What situations or emotions cause you to silence your needs, change your shape, or disconnect from your inner voice? This one, I think a bit, and I was like, okay, I think maybe it's also a question that, okay, if you're in a scenario, you will quickly know, right? Like, I would recognize, okay, I'm abandoning myself, I'm abandoning my own needs in a situation if I like made a decision. But right now, like, I'm just simply answering these questions, so I'm not really in the situation, right? So I thought about it. I'll answer in like 3 lines. That's it. I could answer, but not much. And I basically, this is part of this question specifically. I want to share my answer because I've shared this already. These type of stuff in my previous episodes. So the answer is, when someone needs me, I would often sacrifice to a scary amount of degree to tailor their needs while convincing myself that I am still benefiting from it, even though it might sacrifice my sleep time, eating habits, finances, study, or just in time in general. Right, this is very simple, but that's what happened before. Question 8. What part of your life feels most out of alignment with who you truly are, even if you can't fully name that is yet? This is the only question that I am so unsure how to answer that I ask, can you elaborate on it? I don't know what to answer. And the elaboration makes much more sense. It says, instead of asking about your whole life, let's break it into areas. Think about each one for a moment. So it broke it into 5 areas. Work/study, relationships, daily habits / lifestyle, emotional world, and future vision. So for example, does your work, does your study drain or energize you? Are you doing it out of survival, obligation, or desire? For a relationship, do you feel safe to be fully seen, or do you edit yourself to stay included? And for like lifestyles, are your days shaped around who you are or who you think you should be? For emotional world, do you give yourself permission to feel fully, or are your emotions always filtered? And for vision, are you building something that excites you or avoiding looking ahead altogether? And this one I answered quite long, and I just answered truthfully at what I was thinking, covering basically, I think out of the 5, I think 3 to 4 aspects of my life. For question 9, what does your inner voice sound like when it's trying to protect you, even when that protection keeps you small, stuck, or scared? This one, initially I was like, I don't know how to, like, it's not I don't know how to answer, it's like I don't have that inner voice that tries to protect me. But later, I realized, yes, there is one thing, although it might be a little bit different than like what other people's blocking sounds were. For me, the one is, everything is just a phase, it would be over. And this can sound positive indeed, but to me, it's not all negative. I use it both ways, like literally 50-50. So I use it also in the negative way, like for example, relationships. I want long-lasting relationships, like deep ones. I've mentioned multiple times everywhere. But it's just very hard. And I just tried to be like how my recent situation were and things like that. And I would just always tell myself that everything, not just relationship, but just like, that's my, especially in relationship, I would say, just like, even when we just started, I was like, okay, there will be a day that it ended, and I'm already preparing for that. That's, I know, like a toxic trait or something, I don't know. And last question is, if you dropped every expectation from family, culture, society, and even past versions of yourself, what kind of person do you feel you were meant to become? Not career-wise, not status-wise, soul-wise. And that's also a question that I have to think for a moment. I really like all the questions I actually have to think. And these questions are not like the questions when I think, I was like, I don't really want to answer it. These questions like, actually, I do want to know my answer, my actual answer for the question. So I try to think it through and answer all the questions. And it's just interesting because there's a vision. Like, I kind of like force myself not to think about the future, right? But there's this image of myself that I once kind of put together years ago. Not like too many years ago, but just like not within the few 2-3 years that I am a lot more conscious, aware of what I'm doing and thinking and stuff. There's this image that I am I am at my house, like my own house, my own place, not like I own the house, but just like it's possibly like a little house town or like suburb house with like garden. There's like 落地窗 and sun coming in, and there are 2 cats, and like there's like kitchen counter, and I have different work section like places in the living room. And honestly, it's funny now that I think about it, because there's no bedroom in my vision. It's just the kitchen and living room, and like I can see something outside, like the windows, right? And yeah, that's my vision, working or living like that. This vision like exists very long ago, I am pretty sure, and this is definitely a recall for that. So just write it down. My question for the 10th one I can also share. So who I want to be. I don't think I cannot really properly answer the question, but I try as much as I can. This is my my trait. Like every question that you ask me, I always derail. I always cannot answer to the point. So this is the answer. who would I like? Who do I feel I were meant to become? So I think I were meant to become someone out there, loving every single aspect of the world, being social butterfly and being able to talk to basically everyone, loving animals, having supportive friends to meet once in a while, full control in my life, travel, work, do nothing, just exist with 2 cats in the suburbs. That's what I said. And honestly, just like the last sentence part, that's what my vision was. And I started with like all the loving parts. I don't know why, but that's what I think about when I was answering the question. And yeah, that's all the answers for my question. And the patterns that the first prompt asked ChatGPT to produce. So they are firstly analyzed from the higher self perspective. There are 5 negative patterns and 5 positive patterns. Honestly, as a like a regular person, I don't know, like am I not regular enough or something? I don't feel much seeing these like criticisms because I already know them. I literally like write them myself. So this is the part that the 20% part that I am unsure. That is it because I didn't write it, hence didn't reveal it, or is it, I don't know, just that's all the truth is. So yeah, let's see. The 5 negative points are overgiving, emotional suppression, acting out negative beliefs, pre-abandoning people, isolation as protection. These are the 5 negative points. And the 5 positive points, the first is self-awareness, boundaries, intuition sharpening, desire for realness, creative autonomy. Yeah, just honestly, okay, they have like a lot more detailed, like sometimes the word I was like, what does that mean? Like it's like an English word I don't even know. So honestly I was like, okay, yeah, true. And so what can I do, right? So the next one is action steps to, it's called action steps to reclaim your authentic self. And because of their action steps, and I found out that, okay, I'm actually, because I know these problems, right? And I am already trying to fix them. So I tell ChatGPT that, oh, actually, you know what? Like, according to these 6 action steps, I'm actually doing these, according to what you told me to do. And what are some, like, further action steps that I can do aside from, you know, I was already doing these. So, for example, the first action step was create a receiving practice. And it's like, okay, every week do one thing that lets you receive like compliments, help, rest, affection, whatever, without offering any in return. And the second one was emotion reawakening time. Basically, jot down some thoughts, feelings on purpose. The third one is set one boundary per week. Just saying a no to like request, delay a reply, or leave a conversation that drains me, etc. The fourth one is, okay, let's talk about the first 3 because these 3 I've already known and already done quite a few things to like be more actively aware of these things and make changes. And I told ChatGPT like, actually I'm already doing these things. That's pretty nice. But the fourth one, it's a bit difficult, which is reconnect socially, slowly. It's like 1 genuine check-in per week, not forced small talk or soul talk with someone you feel safe-ish with. Even 1 line counts. This one is kind of hard, but I feel like it's something I need, but it's not desperate. So it's like a smaller issue for now. And I can also like, I have this podcast, right? So I'm fine. Yeah. The 5th one is name the negative voice. And like, okay, literally like giving a name, like the doubter or the ghost of providing, and when it speaks, talks back. This is not really a problem of mine. I don't know why it tells me to do that because I don't speak back. Like, the inner voice of me, it's not like they have their own characteristics. It's literally just me. And I don't very often have those negative voices, so I tell ChatGPT that actually, so I don't really, like, most of my thoughts, I wouldn't say all, like, most of my thoughts are actually pretty, positive. The negative one is my action. So, yeah, so to be honest, I rarely have negative voices in my mind. It's mostly positive ones. The negative one is not voiced by my actions. Yeah, that's the issue there. And the last one, the 6th one, is vision anchor ritual. So once a week, imagine your suburb plus cats plus joy life. What does she wear, eat, do? Let the vision of you make one decision for the day. Not really sure, like I know the vision part, but I'm not sure like how do I let that vision of me make the decision. Anyway, but yeah, that's that thing. And so it gives me further instructions basically. So yeah, let's see, like the first one, strengthen your receiving muscle with conscious gratitude loops. It says, okay, you can actively receive help and basically jot it down. Create a receiving reflection log, weekly and 5 minutes max. And literally this prompted me another idea that I can do, because nowadays I do have like thoughts, but a lot of the methods that people are using to quickly, just like quick note, whatever, I just don't like it. So again, I'll say kind of like a developer now. Can I say that? I quickly jot down pen and paper an idea for an app, literally. So I just wrote like a simple UI app that allows users to input text as short as long as they like. Once entered, cannot be modified or deleted. And a different view will show the logs in like calendar view or list view with the date plus time. And each time the entry will start empty, there will be no distraction, no prompt, no previous logs, fully accepting whatever just at the moment. Usually, like previous, I was like, oh, I need to write something. I would force myself to think, okay, I need to write long, I need to write blah, blah, blah. But no, just accept. If I want to log something, go in and log in, regardless of how short or how long it is. Yeah. And what else? Yeah, and then later it's like, actually, this can be like one for a random log, one for gratitude log, so receive and give forward. That's what it asks for, right? And later, it also provides, so it gives me 6 plus 1 bonus action steps. And the bonus one is a I am becoming jar. So quote unquote I am becoming, end quote, jar. Basically like a jar or a digital note title, I am becoming. And it says every time you do something aligned with your authentic self, big or tiny, drop in a line. Example, set a limit on help giving, walking away from a draining conversation, told myself I didn't need to be productive to rest. And I was like, yeah, this could also be a log, right? And so I have brought it down, this idea very quick. I am definitely going to forget it if I didn't. So these are like great app ideas. I'm sure if it's just like a simple note app and like calendar view, there's definitely existing apps out there. And I would probably want to take reference from them and create my own version. Yeah, let's see to the second refined action steps. The second one is low effort daily logging. Basically, what I try to do, just log something very simple, and I want to find a way for helping myself to do that, and saving somewhere. And I definitely want it to be digital. I don't want to be pen and paper. And the third thing is, upgrade. Basically, all of the steps are like can be adapted into this app log thing that I wanted to do. So the third thing is upgrade regret into a wisdom log. So every time I take a risk and set boundaries and maybe regret it or not, I basically, well, in the past I frame it as learning, because when I've never tried in that area before, how would I know I will regret, right? And I prefer to dare try it instead of just not trying it. I believe this is the right way of choosing it. And so this action step is telling me to enter every month what choice felt off after the fact, and what did I learn about myself about these and stuff. I feel like this could be implemented as a feature. Like I can enter a log or something and choose like the tag. This is like for regret for the day, and I can also have an option to do some reflection of the month and see, okay, what are the regression? What regression? No, I hate regression. What are the regrets that I've had the month? The fourth one is build soul talk surrogates. Is that how you pronounce it? Surrogates? Yeah, okay. Basically, like using self-dialogue, symbolic connection as soul talk alternatives. Basically, this podcast. That's why when I saw this step, I was like, literally, wait, let's just record this into an episode. It asked me to like write letters to a future self or past self. Don't need to reply, obviously, which I hate the idea of writing letters, so doesn't know. Talk to your cat, a tree, your reflection, or an object if it's your higher self. I've never talked to an object or just like anything like that, yeah. And I don't have a pet, by the way. And the third one is record voice memos like you're speaking to a soul friend, which is the podcast. So yes. And right now, okay, let's see. The fifth one, decode actions as inner message. So what I've done is realize my self-sabotage shows up in action, not in voices. So what I should do is track 3 repetitive self-derailing actions and write what they might be saying. For example, skipping meals, like I don't deserve nourishment unless I'm productive. These are like examples, literally not related to whatever I was saying. Or another example, scrolling endlessly equals I need to skip but don't know where else to go. Ignoring deadlines equal I'm afraid success will accept more of me. Don't know what that means. Anyway, yeah. And the sixth one, separate plus 2 cats vision board. So it's like create a vision seed, not a board, just one image, Pinterest, AI, or Doodle, and one word that captures your future self and places somewhere visible. I don't think I would do that. That would definitely trigger my ADHD. What's that, like the little burnout that that I used to, like, just making it, regardless of how little it is, it's gonna, like, I don't like that anymore. Yeah. And then the bonus one is the I am becoming jar. Yeah, so that's kind of, yeah, it's like coincidentally previously, literally just yesterday when I first woke up, I was like, this is a problem that bothers me for quite a while now, is just, like, there's no simple, quick, and easy way for me to document what's on my mind, and I want it to be digital. Writing it down is definitely the most time-consuming option, but it's like very easy. You can just grab like pen and paper, right? You just can drop it down. You don't need to open anything aside from opening the page, or it's already open. But it's definitely an option in some ways, but it's just still very time consuming, and a lot of the dreams that I want to capture cannot be captured because I am just too lazy, or feel like it's very time consuming to open up or just type it down, whatever. So I feel like voice is still a quicker option, and I could probably turn the voice into text, but then I still need to like properly refine the text, etc. It's just, yeah, anyway, it's just a lot of work without me actually doing it already. So I was having that issue, and then I was like, yeah, cool, let's set like audio thing or whatever. I'm not planning to write one, but then today I was playing with all these prompts, and yeah, things kind of collide. I was like, yeah, cool, actually doing a log like this, I can actually write it to, I may or may not need like a database. I was initially thinking of using database because that's what I was working with, but I was like, maybe not. I can just write it locally, then I can have access to the file, or write it to like, CSV might not look good, but I might maybe write it to a markdown file or something, and then that could be uploaded to Google Docs, and then I can use Notebook LM to further like analyze more patterns of mine or something. That is kind of what all this is about. Yeah, basically this is like a very long voice message to my future self. So if you're listening to this later, I hope you remember you came back to yourself.